It's a Drake manufactured ground vehicle that's called the Mule. I mean, it's a little on the nose.
These people try to be funny.
Played Star Citizen and done a box collection mission will be pretty familiar with the sort of the ways you have to do it, and from watching players play these missions, it's clear that there is scope to improve people's lives there.
Look at the ship! Look at the ship!
I've been there before.
Have just picked up a cargo
Any
collection
ship with
or cargo
aerodynamics
delivery mission or something like that.
Up.
That means that you need to go to a planet-side location, manually collect a whole bunch of carryable cargo, and then cart it to some other location. The Mule comes in here where you can launch a ship however far away from the location as you need to, drive the Mule in.
It looks like this chunky industrial thing, but it definitely accelerates, and it nips around. I got nothing but nips.
Loaded up with 6 carryable boxes, and then drive them all back in one go. Save you a few round trips.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what makes it Drake is it's kind of
exactly
like almost low-tech styling. So, for example, chunky pipes in the interior, and they're just quite low-tech.
When we were building the Mule,
makes
we
them
were
more reliable,
conscious of
or at
trying
least
to make it
easier to
fit
fix,
in
right?
as many ships as possible, and size-wise, if you can fit a rock on board your ship, you can fit a Mule.
Oh my goodness.
Visually, my favorite part is either the entrance door, because it has these big beaming lights on there that kind of light your way, but it just gives it like a really nice character to it. Or the front arms, as I said, like when they deploy, it just looks like it's trying to give you a hug, and it's just like these little arms that kind of fold out, and it makes it look kind of cute. That and like the oversized wheels,
anti-gravity
kind of
radiation.
like a Tonka truck.
It's very great.
It's just a cute little thing, you know.
The Drake Mule is
It's like a recall. Everybody's getting sick.
It is a real big quality of life time saver for those
Are you kidding me, Drake?
missions.
They've just changed their headquarters to another
planet. In the future, with the cargo refactor, its next big use will be actually helping you load your vehicles. Loading these big SCU crates from where the cargo is delivered via a freight elevator, and with the cradle in the back.
I'm more excited about seeing a cat in
you
action
can
like that and
essentially
actually have
ferry
those
two,
doors working right.
Large
Whoa,
SCU crates.
Oh, give me that
towards your
shot
ship and
again.
onto your ship, depending on your ship.
Oh, I'll do it later. I'm not going to stop since we're watching together.
Like
That's what I was wondering, and
Mule
it
is
does
the
do what
latest
I
in a
thought.
recent line of small
Oh my God!
around
Great
vehicles
in the
designed to improve the first-person non-combat experience and provide more opportunities for expanded and emergent gameplay than ever before. And it'll make it straight
This
to
is
drive
Jared making good on his
persistent
promise
universe
to show
during
us
this
inside
year's
the upcoming
Invictus launch
studio
week.
in
But that's not all, because the event has also brought with it the long-awaited Scorpius. With its popular styling and notable firepower, let's learn more about this tandem terror from Roberts Space Industries. The in-game one, not the... Well, I suppose it's both.
My favorite aspect of the ship, if I could pick only one. This ship definitely has an unforgettable silhouette.
I agree.
When you first see it, you can definitely tell that it's going to be, something that you need to take seriously. It's something which you're not really going to forget anytime soon when you see it.
So we have a few heavy fighters in the game. We've got the Banner Defender, the Anvil Hurricane, the Super Hornet, and they all cater for players who enjoy combat, but they want to have a bit more cooperative combat between you and another player who are in one ship taking on the hordes of enemies. Something that makes these two-person heavy fighters special compared to smaller ships is just that shared experience of combat. It's just a much nicer gameplay experience when you're in this one ship.
I think the Defender's more of a single-player ship that happens to let you bring a friend that can help you out.
So
yeah,
the Scorpius
the
is
Banu
a
designed it to be
heavy
two-person, so...
It's quite agile, given its size.
That is very
It's
cool.
a two-person ship, and the gunner is in control of a remote turret. When we first conceived the concept of this ship, We didn't have the
That
tech
is a
in
serious
place to
thing.
have moving
Having
turrets.
the turret be remote
So
helps
I
with
worked with
players that
Yogi and Mark
can get disoriented
to
easy.
get this in
They're-
place.
As soon as they jump out
And
of the
for
turret,
the
they're
first time,
back
you'll
there
be
with,
able
with
to
their
control
pilot, with their
where the
friend.
turret sits on the ship.
And it's also the first ship in Star Citizen to feature the iconic wing split.
We added a ship
With
transform
the avoiding saying X.
hotkey. So when the landing gear is retracted, you can use Alt
I don't know,
and
that
K
one
to
paint
deploy
looks
the wings
awfully
without having to
nostalgic.
also deploy
I'll use
the
that word again.
landing gear at the same time.
The white and orange
There
one?
were certain elements from other RSI ships which we've taken, most notably the thrusters. But honestly, this thing does stand on its own 2 feet, I think, more than the average ship. We were
Probably a little
almost
too
leaning
It's
towards
destroying. I
a
can't even tell
more,
what that is.
stealthy, sort of futuristic feel for the ship, and kind of what that would look like and mean to
Very
RSI
sharp
if they were
edges.
to progress down that route.
Very aggressive.
So since
And they're getting
concept,
some
it's
good shots
doubled
in this.
its missile loadout,
And
so it's now
it
got
being folded
16
in, it
size
even
2
looks like it's
missiles.
like ready to go.
Yeah.
And the shields
One
have
thing
gone
I
up
noticed,
to
they
a
doubled the
single
loadout from 8
size
to
2 shield,
16.
which is pretty hefty in the current combat meta.
Look at that.
Whilst the
modules
Scorpius will be launching at Invictus Launch Week, development is not stopping on the ship. There are some things that we want to do with it in the future, but they weren't essential
Wow,
to
that's
the vehicle
beautiful.
releasing.
This ship is for
That
someone
is
who
awesome.
wants an agile ship that also does a lot of damage. In future, what we would like to do, so, wings retracted, maybe the ship can gain more momentum, have more agility.
Ooh, I never thought of that.
We do want to look back at in the future.
So what did we learn this week? Well,
Kinda
we learned
like
that Drake
a
may
bird
not have the
diving,
flashiest looks, but
Yeah.
their focus on
Or
utility and
a
usefulness
variable
can never be
fixed,
questioned with the
variable
upcoming Mule.
moving wing.
That the RSI
on
Scorpius
modern
will
fighter
increase
jets.
opportunities for those wanting to do
Oh,
the
wait a minute.
the
He's
two-pilot
concluding,
tango
there's a full
while
minute
pushing
left.
turret gameplay into new spaces with its unprecedented changeable firing arcs. And that
He's
all
just
of
gonna
this
show
is part
shots
of this
around
year's
here?
Invictus Launch Week going on right now. Pop on over to the robertsspaceindustries.com website for more details. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. This is the 7th floor of the Manchester Goods Yard building, 8th story of the building as a whole, and the first of 3 that will soon be home to our UK studio. Because they don't count the ground floor as one here. So the 8th story is actually numbered as the 7th story, 7th floor. No, Justin and Amanda, you do not cut this out. This is important. We'll see you all next week.
He needs to tell the Americans how they do stuff. I was kind of wondering.
So
Okay,
let's
I'm
go
gonna-
back to that shot.
of
Cargo
the
refractor.
Kind of like your way,
trying to
but
find it.
chunky
Yes,
pipes in the
it's a
interior.
242
And yeah, like, they're
roughly.
just quite
And with the cradle
I'm
in the
really
back
liking that
and the
cat one,
forklift
too.
at the front.
Okay, so 242. You got a derelict. What is that? A Lancer?
Yeah, it looks like a chunk of a Lancer, exactly. But look at the back of the vehicle. People are asking, how does it load the SCU?
There's your answer. Yeah.
And I said it's got to have some mechanism, and that it has a hatch on top. And I was wondering if the hatch is where you work or check the machinery. And this shot is the one that it's promotional art, so we'll probably see it tomorrow. But I'm going to take a screenshot to post it because I was talking to the guys. Because did you get a chance to look at it at all?
I got a shot of it, but I got a chance to play with it for about 3 minutes on the PTU.
And 30K?
And I got 30K'd, and I could not get the video to work right. And it was like the worst crunchy audio I ever had in my life. So I think it was like a memory leak or something.
I didn't do PTU this rounds. But when this came out and I heard it was on PTU, one of the buddies in the org said, come on Discord and I'll stream it and just tell me where to look and stuff. And so he went around and we were testing stuff. And in the back, there's like a bar. I don't know if we could find a shot.
Well, the shot right before this, the cat, has multiple of them. One on the left of the shot. 240. On the left side of the screen, you see the Drake Mule with the back deployed. And then on the right side of the screen, you see the back folded in, And
see
then,
that bar?
Look at the little forklift in the back. Look at the little pallet jack. Cat's elevator, second elevator forward. So so look at the right Drake and follow your eyes up to the guy who's marking the boxes.
Oh, up above. Yeah, it's kind of blurry, but yeah, I can see that.
Well, not just the blurry one. Below him, there's another guy in his arms.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, I see him now with the wheels. I can see the wheels now.
I want those. I want a 6-pack of LTI pallet jacks.
No, they're around, right? They're
Yeah,
on
but
the cargo stuff. But you're talking about
the ship should come with it. If you have the cargo modules installed in that cat, there should be one in each one of these modules.
Yeah.
Stored on the wall or something.
Just looking at this to see the doors working is pretty amazing, don't you think?
Yes. Yes.
And that's part of the new mechanic of the Scorpius and the Hull A. That's what they've been working on to get these to work in different modes.
It also explains. Everybody wonders about the cat, the configuration for the bridge and for the tractor beam station on the other side. They kind of have like these weird overlooking gantries. This is why, so you can see what's going on in your cargo areas.
Exactly. And I'm pretty fascinated on the whole setup of. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Drake, but I've been on plenty of caterpillars, doing missions, either turret gunner while we're doing trading and the whatnot. But it's to get these working, they have to be done by 318. Otherwise, this can't trade because you can't load, right? So they have to be working. There's another ship that needs to have things working, which means it needs to have part of its module system working, and that's the Carrack. Same thing. Those doors have to be open, otherwise it can't load cargo either. So
those big bays on that bottom floor, everybody walks by them going, why is this?
They're supposed to open sideways, by the way, to the side. Originally, I remember John Cruz said they were opening on the ends, the front and back, but he realized when all the pods are up there that doesn't work.
Especially if you have a module at the front with something different than cargo. Both the Cat and the Carrack will have other modules. Who knows what they will be? But
exactly. No, but this is awesome. I love seeing this design with, like you said, the thing deployed. It's pulling that in, and I love to see it. Basically has a forklift at the front and the back.
Who knew 2022 would be the end of 2022 is the year of the cargo. I mean, really, the cargo 1.0 or whatever you would call it, tier 1 cargo, whatever.
Quite a little mechanism. So those arms come out, and then it's got hydraulics there, and it looks like it lifts up, and then the grids. It actually extends the cargo grid or the gravity plates in the back around, and then kind of lifts it and sucks it into the mule. Yeah. So I always thought that it would be able to carry 4 on the side, but it carries 3, which is perfect for, your 2 courier missions fit on the side. And that's why I'm thrilled, because that's my my jam is the courier missions and investigation missions. That's the stuff I spend all the time doing. Now, it doesn't make money like cargo running and bounty hunting and all that stuff, but it's what I like to do because it's very casual, just flying around and stuff. I run into beefs, whenever I have to recover a box at a star fair. There's the bad guys there, and it gets my adrenaline pumping because I'm not the best FPS, guy, but I usually survive. Not always.
That's fine. And the other thing is this is going to fit in a lot of ships. Like, I mean, the Drake Mule is going to be very, very small.
Crew made that point that they were trying to make it fit, and what I'm thrilled about is putting this in a freelancer DUR is going to be the ultimate trip. Before, I used to think a grab bike would be good, and it still would if you're investigating like a space wreck. This won't do any good, but number one, this has an environmentally sealed cabin. So you park your DUR and, whoever your scout is, or if you're solo, you can take this, drive out, and go do things, and not worry about overheating or freezing or running out of air.
And you got the lighting too.
Yeah, the lighting and the radar, because this detects minerals. So you can take this into a cave to go cave diving. Think of it. It's the mule. What do you usually think of if you're old enough to watch old Westerns? Is the old crotchety miner with his mule. So this is a one-person crotchety miner, or maybe a young miner, and you go down into a cave for some hand mining. You take your mule along, and as you gather all the stuff, you can just start storing it in the boxes that you brought along, stacked along the side. And your SU crate, maybe it has a bunch of supplies, a tent, whatever in the future that we might have survival. Because didn't Mr. Chris Roberts mention building a fire to survive when you're crashed? So he's adding even more survival mechanics into the
248 I'm looking at right now with that front the front forklift part active.
Yeah, there we go. And John Cruz said that it's not now, but when the cargo refactor in 318 it will be able to do that. So it's not going to do it. But the other neat thing is those side things. It does have internal storage, by the way. I
was not aware of that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it does. It has a computer. It does have a fuel port. Did you know that?
Yes.
So it's the first one set up for fuel, but it has a computer, radar. It has dual power. No, it has a power plant and a battery in the back. It's modeled wrong because it looks like two power plants, but it's labeled battery and power plant. And there's no shields and weapons on it, so that's all you really have is something to make it go. Your radar detection and a computer, sense scanner array. And the left side here, underneath the rack, is a gun rack that pops down like a long. It doesn't have the gun rack look to it. It's just like a flat shelf. But I did notice that when he found it. And it has your traditional, basically the equivalent of a courier box, 0.125 SCU. So it won't fit, for example, a big environmental suit. But you can take off and put the environmental suit box on the side. The guy that was doing the recording for me, he went in the outpost where he pulled it, and there was a bunch of armor pieces. So he put it in local, and then he pulled it and held it and was able to stack the boxes. So he had like a core and a leg and an arm all stacked up on the racks on the side. So it's like you can store gear there. In fact, he had 3 medical gowns that he had used, and by standing them up on end, when you put it up there, you could stack 3 of them. Up there.
Yeah, it's a mind trip. I'm going through the clips right now.
Yeah,
trying to just see it in action, and it's like one of the biggest things I see with this is outpost. Like it's just you can put it out the mining use case
around with the 8. What do we have coming? The reclaimer wreck, outposts are supposed to be coming. I could see people there, AI driving these around, because we're getting the nav mesh here coming. Not then. I think the nav mesh is coming, but it's limited to the wrecks. So while people outside, I don't know if they'll be able to drive vehicles, but in the future, I agree with you. You're going to see these. You're going to see an occasional cargo, that these people use to, move things around locally from ranch to ranch. You don't need quantum because, you only live, you all live in this area. Mm-hmm. So, that's what a lot of our vehicles are designed to put within the verse to make it feel alive. Oh, what is that behind there it's driving up onto? The ship. Do you see there's another mule that's driving up a ramp?
Which minute?
Oh,
what's your time
sorry.
stamp?
2:47. I'm still at the forklift one you told me. trying to figure out what ship that is. I can't recognize it. Do you? Is that a
big
Cuddy?
wing? There's a big wing on the right side there.
Is that a wing, or is that part of the hangar it's sitting in?
The lights from the mule itself are disorienting me.
Yes,
but,
yeah. I mean, it looks like a Cuddy, I think, because it's not a freelancer.
No, it's got the correct width to be a Cuddy. Maybe the Cuddy steel. I'll be honest with you, I've never been in a Cuddy steel.
I haven't either, but it has
yet.
the turret. It has the turrets in the back. I don't think you can drive up a bit, but then what the heck is it? See, that startled me. All of a sudden, I realized, oh, there's another one in the background driving up a ship, but I don't know what ship that is by looks. I'd swear it's a Cuddy.
No, it's not the Redeemer. I was gonna say maybe there's no way that's the Redeemer.
No,
even with the module already in the future, it's too high, too tall.
Yeah, exactly. Except the Cuddy has an overhang there, I thought.
Maybe steel?
It's not the Cuddy. No, the steel has a turret right there at the top of the ramp. So, but you see the bars right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
the Legionnaire, maybe?
No, Legionnaire is it has
a ramp.
Yes, but it's only a personal ramp. You can see it's a narrow ramp. And there's no room for a vehicle.
It could be playing games with us. Like that ship, that could be literally the depth of its storage area in the back. Like that's it. Like they can't fit a second mule in there. It's playing.
Or it's a new ship that they plopped here. Let's see if anybody noticed. Wouldn't that be funny?
Possible.
We're all talking about it. Now look at the bottom of the ramp. It has
real quick. Drake had a thing. So on the preview page for Drake's Defense Con, it says, "Wait till you see what we're about to unleash." ... or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's this.
It ain't no mule. You can't say that and do the mule, unless you're just trying to make a joke out of it.
Yeah, of course. It's Drake. They like that sick sense of humor.
Maybe.
But I am kind of curious what that is. But this little teeny vehicle can carry nearly 3 SCU because it can carry the 6 boxes on the outside. If I'm sure you're aware, maybe you're not, that 8 courier boxes are the equivalent of a single SCU. They're 0.125.
Didn't you? Yeah, I was going to say 0.125 per mini box. That was the calculations.
So you can stack 6 up there, because all you got to do is do any of those box missions like that where the things blow up. They blow up if you don't get them there in time.
Mm-hmm. Which is what those boxes on the side of this, with the one using the forklift is doing. Yeah.
So, well, actually, no, that's actually quantum sensitive, is what those are.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I do a lot of those, so I identify. But yeah, the Xeno threat.
Real quick, you won't be able to see the little warning signs, right? Aren't they on top? They're meant to be readable, like when it's placed down on the floor.
Yeah. All you do, you get in your seat, put it down, get in your seat, spool your quantum drive, and then get out and go look, and it'll be flashing red and say "Turn off quantum drive." It actually says it.
I'm just saying the status messages won't be viewable when it's loaded onto a mule and just sitting on the mule.
Oh, no, that's probably true. But you are able to put it in a Pisces, for example, and put your Pisces on your Carrack and jump, because it doesn't detect the Pisces jumping, because it's not. It's the Carrack. That's how people were doing it during Xeno threat, to get around. It was like a workaround. It's like the box is like, oh, Pisces? No, it's not quantum. It's just sitting here, So I'm sure they'll
this is why I can't do nice things.
They'll get programming to work in such a way, to fix that. But yeah, so you got an SCU that you can carry in the front, like we see here. You got the full SCU crate in the back, and you got 6 there, and then you can store 0.125 internally in your personal locker. So that's just basically 1 courier box short of 3 SCU in this little single person vehicle.
It's incredible.
So think about all the stuff that if you fully loaded this little teeny vehicle up, and then you can park it in the back of, say, a Cuddy Red. Well, actually, I'll bet you holding the box in front, it probably won't fit in the Cuddy Red. Because I know a Rock will, but it's probably too long with, holding the box like this, at least where I am at 240. You know what? Because I don't own a Cuddy, I have a Cuddy Red, but I don't fly it that much. Because I own the Cuddy Red because it's a loaner for the Apollo medevac I have. So fly it much. But I'm looking at the teeth down at the bottom of the ramp. 1, 2, 3, 4, at the bottom of the ramp there.
Yeah.
Does the Cuddy have those on it? Because I think the Lancer does, but this does not look like a Lancer. It's not. Maybe it is. See, and you're talking about the wings, and I'm trying to figure out if those are the wings.
Oh, we're back to that one again. Okay. I was at
yeah. I'm starting 240.
Yeah,
8, I guess it is.
Yeah, it's a little. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the weird thing is, that's really interesting to me, that excites me about this Drake Mule, is that this might actually be one of the ships that actually gets me interested in doing a war bond this year, because it'll get me off the bench maybe. Because I could definitely see like a Mule combo with, say, a Cuddy or something else like that that has LTI. That would certainly get my interest.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they throw that. It's funny, the LTI tokens kind of come in at the end instead of the beginning.
Yeah, it's a little off kilter, and they purposely held this back for DefenseCon.
Well, yeah. I mean, they could move DefenseCon wherever they want, but it's normally, at the end. So
that's a good point. I think they were trying to sell that Legionnaire. I think that was the deal.
Oh yeah. And to be honest, $100 token isn't so bad. A lot of people, except noobs, are.
Yeah, if this is your first year, you might be a little different. But
I picked one up to go with my Legionnaire.
Yeah, so. And even just like I kind of see it as progression. Separator. So let's say you had 100. Let's say you had a 100 I series, or you had a Nomad or something. Being able to CC you over to a Legionnaire is very cheap, and then that gets you that door open of, okay, well, maybe next event I'll pick up something slightly more, maybe a top tier supremacy fighter or a bomber or. Something like a prospector. Who knows?
Or $10 to make it a freelancer.
Yeah, exactly. Like it kind of opens that door to the next door. That's kind of the thing. The CCU game is very real. It's not like you have to buy every one of these ships. You just CCU to them.
Buy enough and get enough ship that's small enough for your wallet. I mean, because that's the bottom line. There's a couple content creators that you watch that always do the disclaimer, I never encourage you to buy, but I won't tell you not to. That's all your it's like all these disclaimers. It's like, man, it's your discretionary funds. You spend it, wisely, and that's on you. It's not on me. So when I get my review together and finally start posting stuff, my stuff's it's going to be ship review, not should you buy, like STL Youngblood has been doing for years.
Yeah,
I don't like that type of aspect about should you buy.
Well, I still like his Idris vs. Kraken video. It's one of the best videos ever made for Star Citizen.
That was a while ago, but yeah, mine are gonna take the approach of in-game. I'm an in-game ship reviewer, like from Car and Driver magazine type style is how I'm gonna do mine. So. It won't be to the end when I transition to. Have you watched any of Ray's guides videos? Yeah, kind of like how he does that. This is so and so Ray, and then sometimes he shifts kind of quote out of character. I'm not going to do it like that, but it will be from the script draft that I did. It will kind of like, okay, let's get real. That will be my cue where we're going to talk gamified as opposed to in-game, where I can talk kind of numbers and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I plan to do it. I'm trying to wait for the one that I want to do, and I know it sounds crazy, but I think I might do the Mule as my first channel.
Hey, that would be fun.
Because I have such a passion and it fits for what I do. So I think I can put it to good work, at least for what it is now. That's always the trick, because so many people do a lot of their video capture in particular, or their whole video while it's in PTU before it's got the bugs, kinks, and everything worked out. And so you see a lot of comments about XYZ, and then by the time it hits the PU, they've been fixed or modified, so your video is already out of date. But at the same time, you're trying to get your video out before all the other content creators.
That's exactly.
I understand that little cycle game that you guys all have to play. So where maybe waiting a week to make sure like things solidify. The Scorpius though is a tricky one because they said, it needs to be fixed. We didn't touch up. And then they're like, no, we're not going to do it, now, maybe later type things.
You may have drive to do it now as a first look and then do a deeper dive when it comes out. And then it's fixed video down the line. I mean, like if you're willing to dedicate that much content to it, you can.
What I wrote down was first look and a look back. Those are the two phases that, so you go back, and my second video would be, a look back, taking a look back. So I could do two phases like that, but that'll be kind of fun. As I get closer and some mechanism back there, most people, when we were shooting the breeze, trying to figure it out, thought, I saw the bar there, and I thought maybe that bar just flips up and you just back over it, and then the gravity plates just, suck it up. And they're like, well, how do you see back there? Is there a backup camera and stuff? Some of the people go real realistic. It's like, there's this thing called F4 that lets you, some people want to, fly in that first person, stay in the first person. And that's fine. I get that. But we're not there yet, No,
we will be. So
I'm very excited, Red. I cannot tell you how excited to get. I went back and looked at the HUD switchover, with the FPS scanning, where your helmet HUD, like you get in your ship and your FPS little mini map fades away, and then your ship starts powering up, and the HUD switches to your ship, and on top of that, the manufacturer specific, stuff. I'm really looking for that individualism, and I think that we were supposed to. I don't know. I'm messed up now with all this stuff coming after the chairman's letter. It's like, okay, what stuff that's supposed to come is being messed up by this, and what stuff is maybe being accelerated and coming in earlier. I'm just kind of curious how that's all going to work out.
They've always had that policy of, if it's ready, throw it, and that's kind of may need to change over time, kind of looking through their gyro system and looking at what is actually kind of, like you said, coming to loggerheads, like, oh, we're adding this, but it breaks this, this, and this. So, real quick, to wrap up the recorded part of this, because we're going to keep, how we are, we keep chatting, but so we'll plug Vanguard again, because be on the lookout for your channel coming up soon on your YouTube channel when you're ready to pull that.
Our Stonewall will be the what I'm posting it under.
One more time.
Star Warden Stonewall.
There you go. And as soon as he has his channel, Mason, for your info too, I'll be sure to link it and throw you a lot of praise. I think your in-depth things are going to be a great voice for the community. I've seen a lot of startups this past year or two in Star Citizen, and I really am appreciative that the community is growing for the content creator side.
Fully agree.
Yeah, it's as for my focus, I'm trying to focus more on helping people build their fleets intelligently, making those decisions that it makes sense, and also strategically looking at what org fleets should be. So I think there's always that niche that we all have, and yeah, I think every little thing matters, and your attention to detail on ships and vehicles is second to none. So it's always appreciated.
I appreciate that. I can talk at length about them to bore anybody to death, or maybe not bore them, but tell me to shut the fuck up. But yeah, I always the thing and the approach. If you don't want to see it, then don't watch the video. That's kind of the way YouTube is. But I like going into detail. But sorry, I had interruption. But the angles and aspects of the long-term goals of the ships, like the Mercury Star Runner we're talking about, I talk about it as if it is data running. It can't data run now, but that is what it's built for. So if you're purchasing a Mercury, whether in game or with real hard-earned cash, you should always angle for what it will do in the future. But that's also questionable because we have the caveat that you mentioned earlier. Things can change, and what's stated there may be different. Now, you might have bought a Banu Merchantman that's now near capital Idris sized, so sometimes you can win out. Or the original owners of the Idris, for example, thought they were getting a Corvette. Now they have a frigate. And then there's the other cases where they sold you a ship like a Sabre that had 3 shields, but now it only has 2. And hopefully in the end, when stealth is working and other mechanics are in, for example, the Terrapin doesn't have a scanner. The scanner seat's not working. Heavy armor. Well, the armor's not in. So for the longest time, in many years, a lot of them say the Terrapin's not worth it. Even if all the mechanics are in, it's not worth it. It's like, how can you say that? Because none of the mechanics don't know what function. It's like I see, and I know you've seen them too, either on Reddit or Spectrum or wherever. It's like, get rid of that seat. You should be able to control the sensors from the front, but you and I already talked about it. Those ships that have a sensor seat are going to be so urgently important for the particular position. Why? Now, I don't know, and neither do you, because we're just speculating. But if you have a ship that has a scanner seat that's able to be directional, what that means is the ship doesn't have to move to check out a surrounding area, which means its ship engines can be turned off because it doesn't need to maneuver. So your signature is going to be down, and you'll be able to sit in the seat and be able to angle, and you should be able to, just like we can with the current scanners, narrow the field to increase your range. Something like the Terrapin, for example, that's parked, say, near an asteroid or something that's reading some kind of EM signature to help mask itself, like actually exists now. If you pull smaller ships near larger ships, it will block those signals if you get close enough. So that is in game, just like we saw in ISC, those years ago, a couple of years ago. Anyway, so you're in a Terrapin, you shut it down. You can even power your shields off or turn them half power to reduce your signature, or turn them off. That's why it has heavy armor, so it can take a couple hits, run and try to get out of dodge. But you move back of the seat because, again, it's supposed to be a one-person thing. So you stop, you sit in the seat, and you're just scanning around. The Terrapin's a small ship that happens to have 2 medium shields and a heavy armor. So most things of its equivalent size, it's going to be way tougher than, i.e., the Turtle.
The mighty Terrapin. Mighty little Terrapin.
But it has a medium radar. So its radar, based on the old ratio of 3-to-1, it means it can see 3 times as far passively than, say, a Hornet that's out looking, or a Vanguard, small fighter that's out looking for it. So it should be able to detect it long before, especially if you're turned way down. It's going to have a hard time spotting you, and you're just kind of scoping through the horizon looking for whatever you're looking for. It doesn't have to be enemy fighters. Maybe you're just looking for mineral deposits in a packed asteroid field or something. You zoom in while you're sitting back there, or you're just doing a sweep scan around you, but detailed, and because you're in the seat, there must be some kind of greater benefit, maybe greater detail, like the old Aquila commercial when they're scanning the planet to detect atmosphere and stuff.
Yes.
So there's got to be some kind of angle, like you and I said, that's got to make them worthwhile, and that's besides the directional aspect I'm talking about. And as long as they do that, then there'll be meaning and value for these ships that have that particular aspect to them. So anyway, Terrapin's another favorite ship of mine.
Yeah, I think the Terrapin's a pretty good ship, and I can't wait to see when it finally gets realized with its armor, with its scanning capacity. And basically, the whole concept of a scanning station is not as good as a scanning room. The Terrapin is essentially the entire ship's a scanning room, I'd argue. It's built around that one seat. But yeah, all right. So this concludes the recorded version. Once again, Vanguard, great group of folks Mason's a part of. They accept anybody but hardcore pirates. VGND.net. VGND.net. Feel free to check them out. Great group of guys and gals.
Thank you, Red. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.